Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, December 27th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. And here are some of the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Police broke up a protest outside the Lumbee tribal office in Pembroke, North Carolina, but no one was arrested last week. The Fayetteville Observer reported more than a dozen tribal members marched and carried signs last week complaining of what they said were cronyism and unfair treatment by tribal leaders. Pembroke Police First Sergeant Charles Maynor said the protesters failed to obtain a permit. Police instructed the protesters how to obtain a permit for a march. The protesters say tribal leaders are acting unfairly in their administration of the Lumbee Federal Housing Assistance Program and other services. A Rosebud Man was sentenced to 33 months in prison for resisting arrest and endangering children while fleeing from police in his vehicle. Prosecutors say 2 of the 5 children in Joseph Williams' car were injured when he crashed while trying to get away from tribal police on the Rosebud Reservation. 12 days later, prosecutors say he ran away on foot when police tried to arrest him. The 22-year-old Williams pled guilty to 1 count of child abuse and 1 of resisting or impeding a federal officer. Other charges were dismissed in a plea agreement. And in another fleeing case, the Montana Highway Patrol says a 19-year-old Box Elder man in a vehicle being pursued by police died in a crash when the vehicle hit a horse and went out of control. Police say 2 people were in the vehicle that was being operated with its headlights off when it struck the horse and crashed about 2 a.m. on December 24th. Police say the crash happened east of Box Elder near the Rocky Boys Indian Reservation. The Navajo Nation's Naschitti Chapter in northwestern New Mexico has won the right to exercise local control in making governmental decisions. The Naschitti Chapter became the 13th among the tribe's 110 communities to be certified under its Local Governance Act. The Navajo Transportation and Community Development Committee granted certification during November, and the tribe announced it this month. Certification means the chapter will operate under the 5 management system, which are guidelines set up in the Local Governance Act of 1998. The chapter must use certain procedures in fiscal reports, records, personal property, and procurement. As a certified chapter, Naschitti can administer business site leases, create business plans, enforce local taxes, and establish a postal service. The chapter plans to build a multi-purpose building and update the chapter's land use plan. The chairman of the Hopi tribe says he'll push to have the reservation in a congressional district that doesn't include the Navajo Nation during redistricting, as it now is. The 2 northeastern Arizona tribes have a contentious past. Hopi chairman Leroy Shingotewa says the tribe has worked cooperatively with the Navajos, but sometimes Hopi issues are overshadowed by those of the much bigger Navajo Nation. The incoming Navajo president says he'll look for ways to group the Navajo, Hopi, and other American Indian tribes to build political clout in Congress. New census figures means the state's political lines must be redrawn soon. The Navajo Nation currently sits in the 1st congressional district, while the neighboring Hopi are in the 2nd congressional district. State inmates help brighten the holidays for some kids by making wooden toys such as cars, puzzles, and jewelry boxes from scrap lumber. Inmates from the penitentiary in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and the Mike Durfee State Prison in Springfield also made hand-knitted stocking caps, mittens from leftover fleece, and lap blankets and dolls from donated materials. Penitentiary staff delivered more than 1,800 knit stocking caps, 800 pairs of mittens, and 2,300 toys to groups such as the Sioux Falls School District, Special Olympics, Ronald McDonald House, Children's Inn, a Vera McKenna Assistance Program, several Native American tribes, and various law enforcement agencies. Corrections Secretary Tim Reish says he's proud of the generosity demonstrated by staff and inmates associated with various charitable efforts. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank you for joining with us once again. Come back again soon. Miigwech.